What's up everybody, Cryptic here, back with another video, and today I am finally bringing to you guys a long requested video that most of you probably didn't even know you needed. And it's going to not only cover exactly how to join Horizon Roleplay, but also how to roleplay and how to use the different commands, tools, and everything else in the server so you know exactly how to RP correctly and to the best of your abilities, and even become a better role player. So I'm here to answer all your guys' questions and show you exactly how it's done. If you're going to enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like as it pushes the video to more people like you interested in roleplay. Also subscribe so you don't miss awesome content like this. Without further ado, let's get right into today's video. So first things first, how do you join? Well, easy. Did you just load up into GTA Online and just start roleplaying? No, not exactly. You do need to first click the link in the description, which will bring you to our HQ server, which is our central hub for the community. How do you apply? Upon joining the server, channel called How to Join will be in our Getting Started section, and here will be shown that you need your PSN, a good understanding of how to roleplay and how roleplay works. Read all of our rules to their fullest. An important note to take from this is that the kicks in the server are instant and without warning. So read all of our rules and finally go apply in the apply channel, where you can find the application to the whitelist. Again, very thoroughly read the How to Join channel. It will go over absolutely everything you need in order to get started, and it'll also help you to getting actually whitelisted, because there are a lot of do's and don'ts in our application, and that will tell you exactly what to do and what not to. Read it very carefully and take your time. That is also another really huge thing for the application and getting in and getting whitelisted is don't rush your application. You will get accepted if you put time, effort, and meet the age requirement for server. So you're probably wondering, what do you do after you've applied, now that you've gotten to that point in your application process and you got whitelisted and you feel like you're all good to go? Well, next things first, you're gonna have to join the main server. Now, when you do get accepted, depending on which application you chose, we have a PS5 application and a PS4 application. Based on the application you choose, whichever one you get whitelisted for, it will be either PS4 accepted or PS5 accepted along with whitelisted. What this will do is either of these applications will give you access to 2 different servers depending on what you apply for. Be very careful on what you apply for. If you'd feel like to apply for both, feel free. You can use the same questions that you used on your other application that got you whitelisted if you would like to. But it's important to note that you'll need access to your Rockstar Social Club account, and you need to make sure that your PlayStation Network username is not set to hidden. If it is, or you're unsure, you can check this by going to your privacy settings in your account on Rockstar Social Club. However, I go take a look at that and make sure, because when you do verify in the main server, which you will need to do, you will need to request to join our crew in GTA in order to join. But be sure to go do that before anything else. So how do you use different commands in RP? So you've loaded into the session, there's a bunch of people in, you see people running around doing their thing, cops are patrolling, civs are working, and you're excited to get started and begin your character's story, but you don't know how to interact with other players or really anything. Well, with our commands channel, you won't need to worry at all. What you'll notice in the commands channel are, well, you guessed it, a list of commands that you will need to be using regularly in RP. So to go over some of the most important commands, all your interactions in the server, this includes bandaging a wound or destroying evidence to a crime scene, must all be logged in the interactions channel via /me. Now, you don't just type /me and have it actually just say that along with the interaction you're doing. We have a bot set up that'll actually give you very immersive me commands for RP, just like you guys have seen in 5M. How does it work? Well, when you type /me, you'll see the command on mobile actually prompt, whether you're on mobile or desktop, it'll prompt itself to you, and then you can type whatever it is that you are going to be doing or action you're in roleplay. So for example, as I said before, if you're trying to destroy evidence to a crime scene, you can do /me, destroys evidence to crime scene, except bullet casings, etc. Obviously, then police can't use interactions to say things like finds bullet casings, and they would match them up to the gun that was used in a shooting. Want to set up a race or let others know that you got drugs for sale, or maybe you just want to have a barbecue at your trailer in Sandy. Either way, you can post it in Twitter. You can post it in the Twitter channel using /Twitter, which will simulate actual tweets. It looks really awesome. It's super immersive, and I think you guys will love it. Next up, once you get a car, you must head to a gas station and use /fuel once you join the server. This will take about 30 seconds and know when it's done, because it'll ping you and when you need more or when you're empty. Need wheels but don't have the cash to buy a whip? Simple. Use /hotwire to break into a parked NPC car. Be warned, it takes 30 seconds and could fail, resulting in you needing to move to another car, and if cops do see you, they will try to arrest you, so be careful. Another really important command is /create civilian. Now, like every single member of Horizon Roleplay, you will need an ID, whether you're even police officers, because not every police officer in the server is going to always be on duty. You can obviously do some civ RP. So in the DMV channel, you will see other players typing /create civilian, and you'll see their IDs being created. So along with this, if you do get pulled over and a cop asks for your ID, the way you would go about this is by typing /hand ID in the interactions channel, and it will show them your character's ID, and they'll take the name of the character you chose, and they can actually look, see see whether or not you've had citations, arrests, or any past legal cases. So you're probably wondering, well, that's great and all, but how do I buy stuff? What if I want to use stuff in the server? Well, it's easy. If you go into the economy channel and type equals op, you can take a look at what's available, and you can type equals buy and the name of the item to purchase something. No money? Easy. Get a job. No, seriously, there's jobs in the server that range from mechanic work, fixing cars, to working at a quarry and moving rocks, or even being a part of a towing company and towing away actual players' cars that are parked illegally or abandoned. All this can be applied for in the jobs channel, and all work must be logged in the related channel that will appear after you apply for it. They screenshot of you doing the work and the command equals work. Now, to be clear, police officers and EMS workers make exponentially more than civilians do when it comes to just normal legal work, but that doesn't go without saying. Civilians can create their own illicit business doing some pretty illicit things. For example, literally produce drugs in roleplay and craft weapons. And it doesn't stop there. There is plenty to do. But on the topic of crafting drugs, the way it works is, for example, with weed in the server, you need to buy things like a trowel, some seeds, and some other things in order to begin. It will take time to grow. And once it does, after heading over to the weed farm on the map over here, where you will grow said weed, you can collect it and then use equals salvage to get some money back from it. Or if you want, you can sell it to other players. But you don't actually salvage / sell, of course, the actual weed itself. You want to first craft packaged weed. That is where the profit's at. There's actually really no profit to just selling just a random assortment of marijuana put together after it being grown. You need to package it first. But like I said, you can obviously sell it to players that are new if they have a little bit of money on them and they're looking to make a bit of money themselves. As I said, guns can completely be crafted in the server for the most part. Obviously, not all guns can be crafted, but some of them can. It's a little bit cheaper than actually buying the gun outright. That in mind. Kill logs. So in roleplay, if you do actually end up killing another player for some reason, we'll need to log the kill. The way that works is you go into the kill logs channel, you would type PSN, and then you would ping their name, which would be their PSN in game, as well as in the server. You would type where, and then you would provide the location, and you would type why, and provide the reason. That's it. You do need to log all of your kills, obviously, because it comes hand in hand with moderation to the server and keeping the server well maintained. There's also a crimes channel, and in this channel, this is where you would do things like / hotwiring a car in order to steal it, drive it around. Do keep in mind all of these different commands need to be used in their respective channels. They're used elsewhere, it will result in getting timed out, so be wary of that. In the commands channel, it will tell you where these commands are meant to be used, so you should be good. Another thing that we provide in the server is something called a priority request. You'll see in the main servers there is a channel called priority request in the roleplay section, and what this is, if you would like to start a heist or a robbery with some of your friends or people you've met in the RP, you would submit a request in there following the format that everyone else is using, and a session host, staff member, or myself will accept the request and you can begin heist. So you're probably also wondering, how exactly does a heist work? I wouldn't want to do it wrong and end up getting booted from the lobby, or obviously just messing up an entire scene and wasting a bunch of people's time. And that's a great question if you were asking that. So the way it works is you would go, first of all, in RP, you'd get a crew together, people. You can solo a bank or 24/7. However, it's not recommended. Police Force and Horizon are pretty gnarly, so it's not recommended, but not impossible. Next to, but not completely. Keep note, heists and crimes are limited to 4 players at a time actually committing the heist or robbery. Continuing on, if you would like to rob a bank like Pacific Standard, you will need a vault code. That can be found in the server. It needs to be crafted. And when you go to craft it, it will tell you what you need. So keep that in mind. Part of this that you will need, however, is a hacking device. And this is something else that needs to be crafted. After you do that, and you and your crew are in the bank and ready to go into the vault, all you have to do is go into the interactions channel and type equals use vault code. And you can speak to the police officers that will be waiting outside of the bank, or you can make demands. Now keep in mind, hostages aren't required. However, if you don't have a hostage, you don't really have anything to barter with, so police won't feel as bad for just shooting your tires out immediately or tasing you as you exit the bank. So it's highly recommended you get a hostage first. Now, in order to get a hostage, it's not really easy. You're gonna have to find an unsuspecting player that's not really paying attention and hope that they fall for your bait, because most people probably won't. And as sad as it sounds, new players to the server are the best for hostages, the most compliant. When it comes to normal store robberies like 24/7s, LTDs, and liquor stores, you don't need a vault code. However, keep that in mind as well. I'm gonna go over a few of the rules that are in the server, things that you guys are going to absolutely need to know above all else. That doesn't mean you're not going to need to know all of the rules, but just to go over a few of the things that are super important. One of them being AOP, the area of play. When a session is being hosted in a specific area of play, example, Blaine County, for instance, that means the city in that situation would be completely forbidden. But going over there will probably most likely result in being kicked from the session. You can always rejoin when you're kicked if for whatever reason you are kicked, correct. However, if you were muted in the main server, you'll see a punishments channel and it will tell you what you did. It'll tell you why you were muted. And when that mute is up, then you will be accepted back into the crew if you made a request to join again. We go over banned cars in the server. Cars that are unrealistic or weaponized cannot be used in RP. We expect common sense with this rule, so we're not going to go and make a list of every single car with every single location that's banned in the server. The only cars you can buy, which is branching off of that, another really important thing to know, cars in the server that you do buy have different types: sedan, sports car, supercar, etc. But keep in mind that there are 2 different versions of each of these cars. One being normal, generic, and something you'd find on the street that's been in the game since day 1. The other being in brackets DLC, meaning it's been added through content updates, and those vehicles are pretty expensive, so keep that in mind. Green zones are another really important thing to note. A green zone is a term used in roleplay that describes a safe zone, essentially a place or area in the map that you wouldn't be allowed to commit any crimes or kill other players in. Places like this would be like the hospital, police stations, gun stores, etc. Banned weapons in RP. You're probably wondering, well, so I probably can't just whip out a minigun, but which guns can I use? Well, it's simple. The only guns you can use in RP are the ones that are listed in the shop in the main Discord server. So like I said earlier, when you type equals shop in the economy channel, you'll see a list of everything you can buy in the server. There will be a firearms section, and this will show you exactly which guns you can buy. Going back to the vehicles topic, when you do purchase a vehicle and then buy it in game separately, you will need to register it in the DMV channel via /register vehicle. It's really important. You do need to make sure that your license plate is set correctly, or when a police officer does pull you over and decides to check your license plate, if it doesn't come back because you typed it in wrong when registering it, they will mark the vehicle as stolen and you will get arrested, and nobody wants that. So when it comes to gang roleplay in the server, I would like to be very clear about this. Horizon RP is not a gang roleplay server. This is a common misconception, since like most roleplay servers are pretty much based completely around gang RP. To be completely clear, Horizon roleplay is not a gang roleplay server. However, Horizon does offer the freedom of having gangs and gang RP in the server. But to be very clear, once again, Horizon not a gang roleplay server. And the only reason I'm stressing that so much is because a lot of players don't understand that you can't just go around and do a drive-by on some random player thinking you have beef with them, or just mugging and robbing everybody you see. This seems to be a really common misconception with a lot of players. I just wanted to be very extra crystal clear on that. Vehicle flipping. So if you do, no matter what kind of vehicle it is, if it flips over because you were pit maneuvered or you hit a rock or whatever the case may be, you cannot manually flip it back over. Now, when you're in a police chase, if your car does flip, the officers chasing you will be able to tell if you are manually flipping your car over, because your front wheels will be turning. So keep that in mind, and you will be kicked from the session if that does happen. On the topic of drive-bys, also, drive-bys are completely prohibited. So shooting out of a vehicle at all, if you're not a police officer, to shoot tires out at some point in a chase for spikes will get you booted from the server and potentially banned. Some laws in the server to go off of: obvious disregard for our in-game laws like traffic felony, misdemeanor, anything like that, and clear disregard for general server rules will lead to a ban. There is no RP reason to just speed everywhere you go and follow absolutely no traffic laws. The only reason is you just want to be chased. That's an obvious example of cop baiting, which, by the way, will get you booted from the lobby. One example of this would be, and I'm actually basing this off of what players have done in the past, is seeing that there's LEO presence at the police station and deliberately circling the PD and going faster and faster each time you do, waiting to get pulled over, or knowing there's an officer doing radar somewhere and deliberately speeding by them in order for them to pull you over. That is an example of cop baiting. So please don't do it. It's really annoying for them when you get them in a chase they don't need to be in, when they could be in one that's probably entirely more important because the other person isn't actually trying to cop bait them. So keep that in mind. Another thing as well is voice chat in the server takes place within voice channels in Discord. So to be very clear, there are nearby voice channels that you will need to join when you see another player who gets near you trying to talk to you. There are also radio voice channels you can use in order to talk to other players over long distances as well. When it comes down to player arrests, or well, being arrested / detained, you cannot run anymore. Once you've been tased, you're completely incapacitated. Players that are just getting tased and standing back up immediately will be removed from the lobby without question. That is something as well that I'd like to make very clear, is that when we kick somebody from the session, we do have the power to kick them instantly. It's not like a vote kick in a friend lobby or something or whatever, or in an invite only, where you have to get the majority of the lobby to cast their vote on a certain player in order to actually get them to leave, or have to make an entire new lobby in order to get the roleplay going again. It doesn't work like that at all. We actually can kick players instantly, so be very mindful of what you're doing, because if you're going out of your way to do things you know you definitely shouldn't be doing, or if you tell us you didn't know you were supposed to be doing it, the first thing that we expect from people when they join the server is, and especially get whitelisted, is that they read the roleplay rules. So if you are whitelisted, there is absolutely no reason why you shouldn't know every single rule. Most of it's common sense. Again, like I said earlier, when it comes to criminal activities, I'd just like to say this again, it is limited to 4 players only. We've had a lot of people ask, well, why can't we have at least 12? That's an absurd amount amount. If there's a heist going on and there's only like 3 or 4 cops actually on duty able to respond to a heist or a robbery, it's a little absurd that 12 people robbing it aren't going to elite, because what if those 12 people decide they want to just kill all the police in that situation? Well, it's incredibly unfair in every single possible way. Something to keep note about the economy in our server is that using commands like equals work or equals salvage out of character will result in having that money immediately removed from your character and being muted for, depending on the situation, it could be an hour or it could be an entire day. Kind of depends what happened, because if you were just doing it over and over and over at a character, most likely gonna happen for a day. If it was just once, it'll be a mute for an hour, 10 minutes, and again, like I said, the money will be removed. So probably not something you want to do. Highly recommend not doing it. Not valuing life. Not realistically fearing for your life when you are threatened with weapons or severe harm from other means, or having non-spontaneous shootouts at PD, hospital, etc. It's not allowed at all. Antagonizing gangs or police or other armed individuals for absolutely no character purpose, just to try to get them to shoot at you or get into a shootout, is also completely prohibited, as well as players should not be inserting themselves into ongoing situations or shootouts between 2 other groups of people, or 3 or 4, etc. So keep that in mind as well. A lot of things to be noted in the server, but if you think you're forgetting anything, feel free to come back to this video, as I made this the intent to help players old and new alike. If you want to enjoy today's video, be sure to drop a like. It really does help. Like I said at the start of this video, dropping a like helps out a ton, as it pushes this video out to more people like you who are interested in roleplay, and who doesn't want more people in RP having full lobbies, 24/7 sessions, and all that good stuff. So without further ado, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you all later. Join your eyes.